If I ask you if you remember the password or PIN to unlock your phone, many of us will not recall it off the bat. The most common reason for that, barring the possibility that you might be suffering from amnesia that is the introduction of fingerprint scanners on most phones that are coming out nowadays. But how does these fingerprint scanners actually work? That is the question that we are going to answer in this video. So stay tuned. There are primarily two types of scanners in use currently. Active scanners are the ones where the user simply places his or her finger on the scanner, irrespective of whether the phone is on standby or not. As opposed to that, a passive scanner requires the phone to be woken up before it can scan the finger. Given the ease of use, most phones nowadays come with an active scanner. Let us now look at the different scanning technologies available in the market. Optical fingerprint scanner. They are the oldest method of capturing and comparing fingerprints. As the name suggests, this technique relies on capturing an optical image, essentially a photograph, and using algorithms to detect unique patterns on the surface such as ridges or unique marks, by analyzing the lightest and the darkest areas of the image. Just like smartphone cameras, these sensors can have a finite resolution, and the higher the resolution, the finer details the sensor can capture about the fingerprint, which in turn increases the level of security. However, these sensors capture much higher contrast images than a regular camera. These scanners typically have a very high number of diodes per inch to capture these images. Of course, it's very dark when you place your finger on the scanner. So optical scanners also incorporate arrays of LEDs as a flash to light up the picture when you scan your finger. Such a design is agreeably a lot more bulkier for a smartphone, where slim form factors are really important. A major drawback with optical scanners is that they aren't difficult to fool. As the technology is only capturing a two-dimensional picture, prosthetics and even other pictures which are good enough in quality can be used to fool this kind of a mechanism. This type of scanners really is not secure enough to trust your most sensitive details with. It's also slowly being phased out these days. Having said that, with the move towards bezel-less displays, smaller optical modules may make a comeback, as these can be embedded underneath the display glass and only require a really small footprint. Synaptics, which develops a range of scanners for smartphones and other products, unveiled its Natural ID FS9100 optical fingerprint sensor with this in mind. This module can operate successfully under 1 mm of glass and also works with wet fingers, something which typically messes the other capacitive alternators. So don't write off optical scanners just yet. Speaking of capacitive scanners, these are the most common type of scanners that are used today. You'll find these scanners on various flagships including the Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, HTC U11, LG G6 to name a few. Again, the name gives away the core component in play here, which is the capacitor. Instead of creating a traditional image of a fingerprint, capacitive scanners use arrays of tiny capacitor circuits to collect data about the fingerprint. As capacitors can store electrical charge, connecting them up to conductive plates on the surface of the scanner allows them to be used to track the details of a fingerprint. The charge stored in the capacitor will be changed slightly when a finger's ridge is placed over the conductive plates, while an air gap will leave the charge at the capacitor relatively unchanged. An op-amp integrated circuit is used to track these changes, which can then be recorded by an analog to digital input. Once captured, this digital data can be analyzed to look for distinctive and unique fingerprint attributes. which can then be saved for a comparison at a later date. What is particularly smart about this design is that it is much tougher to fool compared to an optical scanner. The results cannot be replicated with an image and is incredibly tough to be replicated with some sort of prosthetic, as different materials will record slightly different charges at the capacitor. The only real security concern comes from either a software or maybe a hardware being hacked. Creating a large enough array of these capacitors, typically 100 if not thousands inside that single scanner, allows for a highly detailed image of the ridges and valleys of the fingerprint that can be created from nothing more than just electrical signals. Just like the optical scanner, more capacitors results in a higher resolution image or rather a higher resolution scan, thereby increasing the level of security. Due to the larger number of components in the detection circuit, capacitive scanners can be a little pricey. Some early implementations attempted to cut the number of capacitors needed by using these swipe scanners which would collect data from a smaller number of capacitor components by quickly refreshing the results as the finger was pulled over the sensor. Many consumers actually complained of this method, and because this was very finicky and it often required a number of attempts to accurately scan the result and thereby unlock your phone. Fortunately, the simple press and hold design is far more common these days. Looking forward again, Synaptics has also unveiled its latest FS4600 capacitive scanner that supports new UI features. These include soft button support to act as navigation keys, force sensing capabilities, and swipe gesture support. Of course, this isn't the first scanner to support gestures, since the Nexus 5X, 6P and the Google Pixel support similar features, as does the Huawei Mate S and some Meizu phones as well. However, in the future, many more devices may support a wider variety of swipe and navigation features using the fingerprint scanner. The latest fingerprint scanning technology to enter the smartphone space is an ultrasonic sensor, which was first announced inside the now extinct Lumax Pro smartphone. Qualcomm and its Sense ID technology are also a major part of the design of this particular phone. To actually capture the details of a fingerprint, the hardware consists of both an ultrasonic transmitter and a receiver. An ultrasonic pulse is transmitted against the finger that is placed over the scanner. Some of this pulse is absorbed and some of it is bounced back to the sensor, depending upon the ridges, pores and other details that are unique to each fingerprint. There isn't a microphone listening out for these returning signals. Instead, there is a sensor that can detect mechanical stress, which is used to calculate the intensity of the returning ultrasonic pulse at different points in the scanner. Scanning for longer periods of time allows for additional depth data to be captured, resulting in a highly detailed three-dimensional reproduction of the scanned fingerprint. The three-dimensional nature of this capture technique makes it an even more secure alternative when compared to capacitive scanners. While this technology is yet to appear in a commercial handset, Vivo has recently shown off a concept model that includes Qualcomm's ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner. Although not as snappy as the other scanners in the market, yet, partly due to the reasons we talked about earlier, Vivo's prototype manages to hide the scanner under the smartphone's display, which could be really useful in handsets as they move towards smaller and smaller bezels. Speaking of under-the-screen sensors, Samsung and LG are working on their own in-house technologies. Apple is also rumored to include an under-the-screen sensor in the upcoming iPhone 8 or whatever they intend to name it as. While most fingerprint scanners are based on very similar hardware principles, additional components and software can also play a major part in differentiating how products perform and what features are available to the end users. Accompanying the physical scanner is a dedicated integrated circuit that deals with interpreting the scan data and transmitting this in a useful form to the smartphone's processor. Different manufacturers use slightly different algorithms to identify key fingerprint characteristics, which can vary in speed and accuracy. Typically, these algorithms look for where ridges and lines end or where a ridge splits into two. Collectively, these and other distinctive features are called the minutiae. If a scanned fingerprint matches several of these minutiae, then it will be considered a match. Rather than comparing the whole fingerprint each time, comparing minutiae reduces the amount of processing power which is required to identify the fingerprint. It helps avoid errors if the scanned fingerprint is smudged and also allows the finger to be placed a little off-center, or it can also identify fingers with only a partial print. Of course, this information needs to be kept secure on the device and saved well away from codes that could compromise. Rather than uploading this user data online, ARM-based processors can keep this information securely on the physical chip using its Trusted Execution Environment or TEE-based trust zone technology. This secure area is also used for other cryptographic processes and to communicate directly with secure hardware platforms such as a fingerprint scanner to prevent any software-based snooping. Approved pieces of non-personal information such as a password key can also be accessed by applications using the TEE client APIs. Qualcomm's take on this is built into its secure MSM architecture, while Apple refers to this as the secure enclave. But it is all based on the same principle of keeping the secure data on a separate part of the processor that cannot be accessed by apps that operate in the regular operating system environment. The FIDO or the Fast Identity Online Alliance has developed strong cryptographic protocols that use these protected hardware zones, enable passwordless authentication handshakes between hardware and services. So you can log into a website or online shop using your fingerprint without your unique data ever having to leave your smartphone. This is accomplished by passing digital keys rather than biometric data to the servers. To wrap it all up, fingerprint scanners have become quite a secure alternative to remembering countless usernames and passwords. And the further rollout of secure mobile payment systems means that these scanners are likely to become a more common and a more crucial security tool in the future. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Let's see if we can hit 50 likes for this video. If you didn't like it that much, let us know what can be done better. And please do consider subscribing to the channel for more of such informative pieces in the future. Click on that bell icon once you have subscribed to ensure that you never ever miss a video. You can also connect with us through Facebook, Twitter and Google+, links to which have been provided in the description down below. You might find some affiliate buying links in the description as well. Please consider using them for your future purchases. It goes a long way in helping the channel grow. You guys have a great time and I will catch you in the next one. This is me, Souvik, signing off, and thanks for watching Souvik Says. Bye bye.